Good morning, ladies. These are going to be a set of videos that I've promised you for a while, and it's things that we can't get round to doing in the class. And we're going to make boxes for an 8x8 card. Now, if you use pre-bought cards or pre-made cards, an 8x8 tends to measure 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. So you would get away with using an 8x8 box. And it all depends on what you're putting on it, how high it's going to be. But I usually just use an inch. So the rule of thumb is you would need an inch at one side, an inch at the other side, and then the size of your card. So because we're doing an 8x8 and we're using a pre-bought card, I'm going to do an 8-inch box. So I need 8 inches plus 1, which gives me 10 inches, and I need 10 inches at the other side as well. So cut your card down to 10 by 10. And that's going to be your base. Now, there's two ways of doing your lid. If you have a board like this, if you use one side and it tells you at the top, no, it doesn't. It tells you at the bottom. It tells you if you're measuring from the left-hand side, that's your box lid. If you're measuring from the right-hand side, that's your box base. So your 10 by 10, you would do it at your right-hand side. So you would turn your board upside down and do it from the right-hand side and score your inch. The other way is when you use your cut your second piece of card for your lid, you give yourself an 1/8 of an inch. An extra bit there. So it would be 10 1/8. 10 1/8. And that gives you your two pieces of card, and you can see you've got an 1/8 of an inch. But if I wanted to use my board the way it was, the way it is, I would cut two pieces exactly the same size. So I'm going to just cut it just past the 10 inch and just past the 10 inch again. So it's like a 1/16 of an inch I'm cutting it past, but I'm cutting them both together. My blade sharpened, I think, and they're both the same size. And you'll see when I make them up, they'll both fit. So we'll do the one that's a 1/16 of an inch first. So I've got my scoring board and I'm using it the way I would normally use it at the top, and I would score an inch all the way around. And do exactly the same on your other piece. Okay, I just might as well carry on and do while I've got my board out. So for your other one, the one that you've got both pieces of card the same size, I'm going to start at my left hand side, and this is going to be my box base. And the other piece, I'm going to start at my right hand side. Mark on that piece of card. And there we'll go. Now, so this is the one that's got the piece bigger than the other. Now, when you're scoring, folding over, I tend to just use my hands. But if you want a crease, a nice crease, turn it the opposite way so your short edge is inside and crease it that way. The reason being, if you were to crease it there with the short edge showing, you would tend to stretch this piece, and it's because it's smaller, it would make your card sit beveled. So just do it with your hand to start off with. Turn it over. And give it a nice crisp edge. If you want, you can actually score it on both sides if it's a thicker card than this. This is 160 GSM, I think. It's not an overly thick card. And you do that on both pieces. Then get your scissors. And because it's a square card, we're going to put this tab, you want to cut a wedge out, we're going to make this tab on all four sides. So it's going to strengthen all four sides. I think I'm going to clean my scissors. So you go all the way around. And if you use bigger scissors, you can actually get it to go just to the crease. And that way you don't shoot over and cut too much. So I'm just cutting up to that score line. And I've cut all my bits out. Then get your glue, and I tend to glue it all at the one time. And fold it in and just push it to your corner now. Just make sure those two edges meet. And hold it down just for a minute. I tend not to use pegs now because I find that the warp the card at the corner. So I try to just hold it down. So as you can see, I've got a tab going on each edge, so that gives that a wee bit of strength. I'll show you a rectangle card on another video. Now you see how If I'd done it the opposite way, that would have been really beveled. Okay, so that's my first part. Let's use my fingers. And again, get your scissors and cut up your score line to the next score line. And then cut a notch out. And again, you do that on all four corners. And again, just go round with your glue. And then you go to the corner that you started with your glue. And just make sure and there you go. And there you go, that's your box made with the 1/8 of an inch. And then you just do exactly the same with your other one. This should be a snugger fit. As I say, normally I would score them on both sides just to break down the fibres. And if you score it on both sides, you tend to not have to use your bone folder to stretch it. Your fingers does just the same job because the fibres have been broken down that wee bit more. Right, so that's that. There we go. And then you start with the one you put the glue on first. Right, and then your last one. I always tend to do my scoring, my folding in my scoring before I do my cutting. It makes life a heck of a lot easier. And the last one. So this is the one using the board as it's intended, using the bottom of your board with your box base and box lid. Most boards nowadays have that on them. But if it doesn't, if you just use the first method, you'll get a box that works. And there we go. I must have went a bit squint with that one. And there you go, that's your two boxes. They should be near enough. That one's slightly bigger, but your 8x8 card will fit inside and it gives you room to pull it out. I usually put tissue paper in as well, just one sheet, enough to fold over the top. That's the first box anyway, and I'll come back with other videos for different kinds of boxes. Okay, bye for now.